Hey, everybody, anybody, Business in the Raw live sessions. I'm Rebecca Gunter, your host of Business in the Raw. We're doing live streaming our planning and writing sessions for season 2, which will launch in spring of 2024. So if you're the kind of person who wants to know how the sausage gets made, in this case, we'll be doing copywriting, or you've been following along at home and Janine's journey as she pivots and reinvents herself into I don't know, I would say her dream business. At least I hope so. As in season 1, we've created a brand new brand positioning for that, some business modeling, and gotten her super excited and ready about what that brand is. If you haven't had a chance to see the episodes from season 1 of Business in the Raw, I encourage you to go back and check that out on the YouTube channel for Stone Fruit that we're on right now, unless you're on LinkedIn. This season, it's all about the assets, darling, which is everything. Assets are everything that you need to fill your marketing mix and be able to actively promote yourself with an online business. And that includes photographs and a website or a landing page or social media, all the things that you got to kind of send out there to bring your reputation to life and push forward business conversations. Janine needs the words that work. So every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and on the replay here on LinkedIn and on YouTube, we are live streaming our strategy sessions because why not? And then they'll get polished, video polished and relaunched again in the spring. Today, it's time to start writing. So, again, if you're the kind of person who likes to pull back the curtain on how things get done in a creative space or for copywriters, this is your show. We're going to be doing LinkedIn copy for Janine's new business page, which is here to not be a ringing phone on my desk during a live stream, which is here to stand as her kind of face and her number one social media platform, which is LinkedIn. We've got 2 things to do for LinkedIn, 2 big pieces to worry about. We've got her personal page, which requires reinvention. You can connect with Janine on LinkedIn at the link below. Thank you to superstar rock producer Kathleen Stewart behind the scenes doing the thing. Um, and then the other piece is her business profile for the Janine Sound Experience, which is the brand in the business that we're building. You gotta kind of do both of those pieces because if you just worry about your personal, then LinkedIn kind of makes you look a little bit unfinished by not giving you a place to add a logo for your own business. You've got to kind of approach it from this double pronged scenario in order to build a robust profile. And I'm going to be writing that live today. I don't know how. I've done some live with these before, and it ended up being a lot of more teachable moments than actual writing characters, but we'll see how it goes. The second piece that we'll be working on, personal and then business. Okay, I already told you that. So here we are. Let's get into it. I've got us set up for success today. This is really just, again, I'm in casual mode. I'm not on my good camera. I've got my casual hoodie on. I've got my workhorse headphones going. So we're going to just get into it. So I'm going to present my screen and I'm going to show you how I get it done when it comes to LinkedIn business profiles. Okay. So the first thing I've done is set up a template for Janine. And that is her business page. And I've kind of started us off with her positioning and messaging. And then we go into the meat of what we're supposed to be doing. If I'm truly transparent with y'all, I have a feeling I've taken kind of the last business profile I wrote and started a template on top, and I may have some old holdover copy here. I sure do. So this is kind of the end of it. Wow. I'm not even. There we go. I've got Kathleen here doing production for me, thank God, because I'm going to be kind of nose deep in this document and won't always know if a comment or something is coming along to kind of move the live stream forward. Otherwise, I'm really just going to be screen sharing and doing the thing. Kathleen can feel free to pop in with her voice or her lovely visage at any point and let us know if something is not happening in the way it needs to be happening. And about midway through the show, she's going to give us a station break, and we're going to see a little promotion for both Business in the Raw and also a LinkedIn profile special, which is super exciting. So I've got a template started for Janine. A couple things need to go into this template. Again, friendly reminder that we're writing the business page for the Janine Sound Experience, not her personal profile. We'll do that next time. So in her personal profile, it's going to have her personal positioning statement, her personal messaging, and we're going to really need to integrate all these aspects of her professional journey and reflect them both throughout the kind of the major over arc of LinkedIn, as well as the way that the Janine Sound Experience reads within her profile. This ain't that. This is her business page. So we're really just writing from the POV or the perspective of the company rather than as Janine, the founder. So it's something to keep in mind. So we've got company positioning kind of up at the top. And then the next thing we need to address are keywords. So if you were with us for our planning session around LinkedIn, I'm sure we can get a link there in the comments or the show notes for sure. When Janine and I walked through her actual profile and talked about the difference between a personal profile and a business profile, and I showed her all the different X sections and elements. We discussed the concept of keywords. Now, I'm here with a full disclosure to say I'm not an SEO keyword expert. In fact, I know so little about it. It's kind of criminal. This is not my bailiwick. This is not my wheelhouse. This is not my specialty. However, I do think that it's worth an exercise of putting some deep thought into what your words actually are based on just kind of your own intuition, I would say, around what someone would naturally search for when they're looking for someone like you on LinkedIn. The reason this is super important is because LinkedIn and Google are happy kissing cousins in the search world. And the more intentionality you have about what that might look like from a user perspective and try and meet those needs or try and meet those demands with just being purposeful, I think it's successful. So I've asked Janine to consider a list of keywords that I put together. I'm literally just brain dumping everything I can think of that is around her business based on her positioning, based on what I know about the industry, based on conversations we've had, based on our planning sessions. And to be fair, I'm sure I have blind spots because I'm not a voiceover artist and I don't know the industry inside and out. But I can make some educated guesses and we can at least, again, throw some intentionality behind it. So I sent Janine a list of keywords and with kind of a set of homework that I'm really asking, would she please kind of just identify, think deeply about these words, add your own, identify like the top 15 or so keywords that absolutely have to make it into the copy, identify like 10 or 15 that maybe should make it into the copy, and then anything in red that's like an absolute hard no, must not have, please don't associate with my brand. The no's are just as important. The hell no's or the fuck no's are just as important as the hell yes or the fuck yes. Okay, so here we are in keywords. So Janine did her homework and she added yellows for something that she realized she should kind of have under her belt or should be added. And again, Janine is looking at this from kind of like her personal career journey experience. And at this point in the game, because I'm working on her business profile, I'm really looking at things that the Janine Sound Experience specifically. So if there's anything in here about like gardening, I'm not going to put it in this piece, but it could show up later. So she's got some really good greens here. So I'm just going to go and I'm going to get this entire list and I'm going to move it over into our major document because it's going to set us up for success here on our business profile. And as I confess to you, I've taken an old and not so old, like I just did this a couple weeks ago, but an older client's document just to set us up for success. And then I never finished fully templating it, which I'm sure is going to make Cat crazy. Okay, so here we are in keywords. I'm going to eliminate anything that is like not either in red or in not highlighted at all. And we're going to set ourselves up for success so quickly. It's interesting what people choose. Oops. And what they don't. I think this exercise tells you a lot more about yourself than even just what keywords does. There's, when you're doing discovery and you're trying to create a brand position for somebody and you're looking for the words that will really communicate that, you are admittedly looking at things through your own lens. You're not, we're not all human beings. So it's your own interpretation of it, and there are a lot of things that you can miss. Okay, so now we've got all of her kind of coded, that's interesting, North American US accent. Kathleen, interesting. We've got all of her keywords here, and then the kind of the copy starts here. So we've got some sections that we need to really be thinking about. This is not necessary. Okay. This is not necessary. Wow, you guys are really saying how the sausage is made. Okay. So we've got our keywords, we've got our positioning, and we've got our messaging. I think the most important thing for us to kind of talk about is how many key characters are we allowed to have for a LinkedIn business page. That information, which I would just love to spit out at you right now, Max, that I have to look up.
Rebecca.
Yeah.
We can't see your page. It's just the same page.
Okay. That's fine. Thank you so much for letting me know.
Okay.
I hope there is a we. I hope there is a we out there, you guys. Okay. I have to look up how many characters it is for LinkedIn business profile. For all payment plans for LinkedIn status updates, 3,000 characters for LinkedIn company page. Thank you very much. 100 characters. That's what I need to know. LinkedIn does not play when it comes to character count. You only have so many, and it's important to know what that is, and it does change over time. So looking it up and not knowing it right off the break is not a bad thing. Okay, so now we're really going to get into the meeting or the writing of it. I think it would be helpful maybe to look at a LinkedIn business page. Don't you guys think so? Let's look at one and share this tab instead before Kathleen yells at me. For good reason. Let's look at one for Unleashed Financial Advocates, because Unleashed is our special guest on the Stone Fruit Roll-Up this Thursday at high noon Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and 5 p.m. London time. This is my longtime bestie, Michelle, who's coming to showcase her rebrand with Unleashed Financial Advocates, which is super awesome. So I've been doing some work on this page in our collaboration, and this is a good sample. It's a good thing for us to look at for a LinkedIn business page. Okay. So let's do this as a member since we're in admin mood. All right. So a business page really is pretty simple. You're kind of standing on the content in the page more than anything else. So we've got a small headline here, which is super important because it's maybe the only thing people see. And then you have an about section, which looks way more than 100 characters. So I think my information has been erroneous. But I'll bet you that if I copy and paste this, I'll figure out what that is. And that's really all you have to kind of, in terms of copy, is you've got your overview here, which is your about section. Your website shows up, the industry that you have, your company size. This list of specialities is really the most kind of powerful tag piece of any business page. And this is one of those reasons where it's really awesome to go and identify keywords, because through keyword identification, we were able to figure out what these words were for Michelle. And I don't know if I hadn't put any thought into it in advance, if I would have come up with this list that would be so accurate and kind of like on the money and just like very like pragmatically tied to her business specifically. So the specialties list comes up as a great place for those keywords. But otherwise, this is what we're writing. I'm writing a headline, this piece here, and I'm writing the overview, this piece here. I'm still not sure how many words we can have, but let's go find out by doing a little bit more. Hey, Kat, while you're doing your thing back there and I get started on this headline, will you tell me how many what's the character limit for a LinkedIn overview section business page? Please and thank you in advance. This is so exciting. Okay. So back to our business profile. So for me, the headline that we're working on really needs to, I think, be as close to, not tagline, but headline. It needs to be as close to the company's positioning as possible. Why? Because your positioning answers all the questions. Who are your people? What do they need? Who are you? What do you deliver? Why special, different, or the one? If you want to know how we came up with Janine's positioning statement, I encourage you to go back to the positioning episodes, which I think are episodes 4. And then also we did personal brand on episode 7 of season 1 of Business in the Raw. So that's how, if you're curious at all how we came up with a positioning statement to identify and articulate this brand, those are the episodes to go back and revisit. So generally on the headline here, we have 120 characters. Maybe Kathleen can confirm that that's absolutely true or no. Okay, and we are in the right document. So, positioning. Again, this is positioning statement for the Janine Sound Experience, not for Janine herself. I'm going to come over here and show you how those two things are different. Janine's positioning statement is really about public health organizations and her own voice and what she's bringing to client work, etc. And then the Janine Sound Experience is something completely different. So that's what we're working on now, is the second one. Okay, share this tab instead. I don't know how interesting this is going to be, you guys, but I am literally just going to write live and we'll see how it goes. So the first thing I'm doing is identifying if there's any place in positioning that will create a compelling phrase. Whoa. Let's see what this is. 126. You can kind of cheat a little bit with ampersands and plus signs. 123. And then you also have to think, are we more clever than clear here? Like, if people went to this business page right away, would they understand exactly what 100? Woo. Wait, what? 111? I see. Like, that's clever. Like, I want to see it, but I don't want to see it in the headline. And maybe this doesn't make as much sense if you don't see it in context. Now maybe we want this. And maybe who it's for. There's going to be way too many characters. But this is how it kind of starts to shape up. 168. Would I break something? Maybe take out companies. Maybe high fidelity is antiquated. Literally 0 views. Good. Then I don't have to be so performance anxiety. I'm just going to keep writing. What's the point? Bring mighty messaging to life. Who's it for? In the back. Rude.
Hey, Rebecca,
Yeah,
I have a
I hear.
question.
Yes, ma'am.
Does it have to start with like the positive of what you're giving people? Could you start with like Black plus Brown VO artists? Bring mighty messaging to life for companies that dare not to be ignored.
Look how cute you are.
Yeah, I'm actually really fabulous at this. I used to do positioning all the time.
You did?
Oh yeah, I've written. I think, well, not like positioning like internally, but externally. I guess value propositions. I think I have written hundreds of value propositions for that business program I was in.
Well, ain't that a thing?
It is very interesting. It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Oh my God, it's one of my favorite things to do. Why? Okay.
Mm.
Did you find out how many characters for about?
Yeah, so I threw it in the comment section, but I guess you can't see it.
Uh huh.
So your summary needs to be 2,000 character limit, so
Okay.
300 words to 500 tops. Like three little paragraphs, I guess they're saying.
Uh huh.
It's easier for recruiters and job seekers when they go through it because they won't read like a bunch of shit because they don't care.
Yeah, that's right. They don't care. I think that ideally with LinkedIn and kind of thinking about your different audiences.
Yeah.
If you were around on the Stone Fruit roll up a couple weeks ago, we had Heather Lyle on, who is this like really interesting executive coach who helps people define their messaging based on where they fall on a disc assessment. And she really
Mm.
got me thinking about like the different types of readers and how you've got to be able to like capture one audience, and that's why I think LinkedIn profiles are so interestingly successful when done kind of like in this rogue style that we're going to do with
Yeah.
Janine's, because some people want to read like everything, like just to do this like intensely deep dive into all of it and the narrative of it, and some people only want the bullet points. So I try and like balance it between how much is narrative and how much is bullet points, and often we'll do that kind of like with a list of specialities. That's why this kind of section here where you get to kind of highlight your specialties is
Mm-hmm.
so nice within a LinkedIn business page, because it gives
Yeah.
you that like opportunity to do it. It really is like, this is 2,000 characters. It's way more than just 3 paragraphs.
Yeah.
I I mean, girl, like I'm a copywriter. I'm there. I get a special like tingly sense of accomplishment to like really get
Yeah.
to when it gets to the character count and it's like 1999. I'm like, yes, baby. I filled the entire filled the entire
Yeah.
page with whatever copy was available. I'm reminded of this quote, like, and I'm not gonna have the person to attribute it to. Like, I'm really sorry, business in the raw audience at home. That people read good they read what's good. I'm paraphrasing, but they read what's good. Sometimes it's advertising. So I try and think about that when I'm writing copy. Is like,
Mm-hmm.
is this good? Is this fun to read? Not doesn't have to be fun to read, although I can't help myself a lot of the times. But like, is this an interesting read?
Yeah.
From the beginning, and doesn't matter what the topic is, and then I don't know. But then also kind of baking in those specialties. You'll see it when we get to like a personal page.
Mm-hmm.
So like, here's Unleashed, and maybe there's some LinkedIn experts out there who are going to be like, you're doing it wrong, and maybe so. And if that's the case, like, please come on Business in the Raw and like show us how it's really done. Show us
Come
how
on
it's
here and
really.
tell Rebecca off. You see, that's not how it's done, girl.
Well, I'm
But
just
I
saying,
definitely
show.
agree. I agree about it. Like, because I literally have no time. So I don't like long form stuff to read, but I
Yeah.
love to write long form. But I forget what the company's called, but it's a marketing agency. It's a guy, and he has like 4-minute commercials with the longest text, but I will always stop my scroll and watch them because they're funny as fuck.
See, there's something for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know who this Michelle is. I'm trying to find my Michelle because we're
Poor
looking at
Michelle's probably sitting at home going, "That's me."
she's oh my god, I'm famous. Sorry, girl. If that's you, call me. You can have free coaching. By the way, I think you need to be on all these little.
I was like sitting back here and I was like, this is quiet, and I'm just going to ask a question.
Well, I don't know how this is going to go. Like, on one hand, first of all, this is just you and me talking, but Ross says like the future of live streaming is two things. One, it's showing how you do the work.
Yeah.
And two, it's live selling. So in one way, we're live selling because, hey, we do these LinkedIn profiles. We have a really cool offer we're going to show you in just a few minutes. So in one way, we're live selling by being like, this is what you're getting. The other way, we're showing the work. Also, in the age of Chat GPT, it's like, I better show that I'm actually writing this stuff myself. Because I'm selling that I'm writing this stuff myself. So here's a good way to do it. Even if nobody watches it, why not live stream? But I was kind of bored by my own live stream, and I'm the only person here. So like, I'm glad you came in, girl. I'm glad you came in.
I need to set up a better background, but whatever. I wasn't expecting to pop on today.
Tony will get you started. Okay, so then like now we're on Michelle's personal page, and this is what Janine's will look like. You know, that now we have bullets. And you can either see more and kind of like read the narrative piece, or you can just read the bullet points. So it's really tries to address kind of something for everybody. In terms of like how you like to process information. I always get pushback from people when I'm doing their LinkedIn profile of like, it's so much copy, but like, yeah, it's so much copy, but like, to me, this is such a more powerful way to understand someone's kind of like special sauce than through one paragraph that reads like the top of your resume. So if you can just kind of like skim down and be like, oh yeah, now I see their work journey. Here they're a project, here they're a project manager for like this association, and that informed how they're booking. So if, like, to me, if you can kind of breadcrumb a career journey, why not have all that copy? We also do it in the about section too with like, okay, this is probably making your head explode because it's like filling the gaps. But we got all these little specialties here and a little list and the call to actions at the bottom. So like the only piece of this copy that really shows up like without click more is this kind of like, this is the TLDR piece here. And then if they want to expand it, they can. The specialties are there or whatever. Again, some LinkedIn people might come in here and be like, what? That's crazy. Come on and tell me about it. This is how I learned how to do it. So
but the one thing I really love about the experience section is I'm so nosy. Like, I'm so nosy. I'll go look up anybody on LinkedIn, but like not logged in, so they don't see that I'm looking at them.
It will tattletale on you.
I know, it's such a tattletale, but I will invest more time going through experience and reading those little paragraphs and then going down like a rabbit hole of like seeing what's up.
Yeah,
and
why
like
not?
Where you worked. Yeah, I love that.
Why not? Why not? Especially if it's written in kind of like a conversational tone, and it's just something that's like, I love this one. Bookkeeping isn't all about how much money you have in your checking account. At the end of the day, it's about capturing opportunities and protecting yourself. This is like from 10 years ago. It's so easy to see how she became, this like steward of your financial health and well, the future of your business needs you. When you write a LinkedIn profile like this, and I gotta tell you, these things are working. Like, I did one for my sister 2 years ago. She just had a networking coffee with somebody who she went to his profile, and because LinkedIn's a tattletale, it went back to her profile, which was like, chef's kiss, and they had a business meeting. There's business there. They work. So just gonna say, just saying. So that brings us to this little piece right here. Let us take a brief moment to have a commercial. Last year, Kathleen, when you were at McDonald's.
Sorry, I started the commercial too early.
Oh my God, we started our commercial.
You said let's take a brief off.
Let's do a little commercial for LinkedIn profiles first, and then we'll commercial for Princess in the Raw. Okay, last year at this time, I put LinkedIn profile makeovers. All these ones I'm doing. The one you saw from Michelle, the one I'm doing for Janine. I was just talking about for my sister. Blah 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 blah. Put them on kind of a flash sale, and they did gangbusters. People who really were like, I don't know if I want to invest like all of this like cash in a professionally remade LinkedIn profile, kind of had a like a softer place to land with that, because the price was like knocked down for kind of this 1 month long promo, and they got their profiles redone, and it gives you some, you get positioning and all the things. So I'm bringing it back because I thought it was fantastic. If you go to stonefruit.com/flash, say that 10 times fast. Pro tip, Kajabi rude as hail, and you can only capitalize the F in flash or it'll send you to a 404 page. So the F in flash must be capitalized, which I think is kind of rude, but that's the way it is here on the old Kajabi land. If you go there, you can kind of see a little bit about the flash sale for LinkedIn profile makeovers. You get to see all these new pictures that Taylor took. It's very exciting. It's worth it.
Which are stunning.
Worth it just for that. And see some samples and a little video, a little promotional video. Browse some portfolio of samples. There's the one my sister did for a couple years ago. Got her coffee meeting. There's Paul, very exciting. Here's Michelle, you just saw. Shantae, who I did a couple years ago. Julie, so successful. JT, love her. Oh my God, there's ZB. And Jen Barnaby, who we did this profile so she could get a job, and she got a job like that, or she got a job like that. So this is the place where you can either I'm so glad I'm showing you this live, actually, because I want to show you something. Why bother? Let's get this. Yes. 1, 2, 3. A little frequently asked questions. And look at this. Based on our conversation, and you talked about it on the roll-up last Thursday where you stood in for American Thanksgiving. So here's 3 ways to get into it, and none of them are fill out a form.
I love that.
Chat with me, buy it directly, or email me to kickstart a conversation. So there are 3 ways to engage based on that conversation. And here is the offer. You can go and buy it right now if you want to. Right off the break.
That's amazing.
Right off the shelf if you want to. So I just want to put that little plug in there for LinkedIn profile makeovers. They are on flash sale all through the month of December. If you are watching this live, ? You can go get it right now, because the offer is ready and live, and that's very exciting. So I will defer with that. What we are doing today is a writing session with my new writing session co-host and co-pilot, Kathleen Stewart.
Did not expect to do this today, but I was like, why not?
Why not? You're giving it so much personality. Look at all these comments that are all you. I think that's fantastic. So good. Is getting his Business in the Raw season 2. We recorded all these sessions last year to like put the show together, and it's the same software. Why are we not just clicking live? So we're clicking live, and we're going live every Tuesday until at least kind of through the end of the year, through the beginning part of the year, and then we're gonna get hopefully polish up season 2 with like, big slick TV
Mhm.
production style like season 1. So these are the raw unedited sessions. Today we are writing. We are writing for LinkedIn business profile. Kat, run the promo from Business in the Raw.
I am absolutely on fire as we explore Janine and what Janine has to offer and what the world has to offer to her. And so, Rebecca, just look out. We'll see what happens next. Until then, ciao. Join us on Mondays only on 100 TV.
Okay, so not really on 100 TV anymore because 100 TV is not a thing. So we need
but they can get it right here.
They can get it right here. And exactly right. We've got a playlist all set up for Business in the Raw season 1. And we moved it to Tuesdays because Mondays are holidays. And, only fools would put it on. No, I'm just kidding. Like we moved it to Tuesdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays are our live stream moments and experiences. Okay, so I feel like going back to writing is the thing to do. Otherwise, it's just you and me bantering. Okay,
that's just called a meeting.
Well, I mean, we're showing the work. Add to stage. There we go. All right, so back in here. You did it! Look at you, girl! You did it.
I mean,
100. And friendly reminder: this is the power of a positioning statement because anybody, not anybody, you're talented beyond measure. Okay, but like it doesn't have to be me, who's the only person who can take a positioning statement and find what makes sense and reconfigure it. And we can't all be Kathleen Stewart, but we can all aspire to be her. Okay. So
I don't recommend it.
What? 10 out of 10 would recommend. Okay. So now I'm going to go back here to the overview summary and I'm going to put the positioning statement kind of back in here for me to really start to think about again. So what did we see already? This. Yep. We saw that already. Hit your people right where they live. Okay. So now I start thinking about, this is weird. Okay. Now I start thinking about like what is the main message? What is the one thing above all else that if nobody else, if you saw none of the other copy, what would it do? What am I trying to say? Generally, I'll think about if someone were sitting across from me right now, what would I want them to know about this business? Like, what would I actually want to tell them when I sit down and be like, for 2 decades, so and so has had the experience of bringing together people and projects with a ribbon of passion. Like, that is not what I would sit and tell somebody sitting across from them having coffee or lunch or a Caesar or having a Caesar. That's for you. And if Tony's listening, if you talk about a Caesar, you want one. That's how they market it. Okay. What would I actually want them to know? We've already used dare not be. We've already used this piece here. It's really around this part here.
I love that sentence, by the way. I think that's fabulous.
Oh, thanks. Tony came up with this little tagline, which is so adorable. And it happened during a live stream. Truth or dare not be or dare to be ignored. I think that's really cool.
I love that.
It's a good time to look through our messaging again. Sound authentic and accessible.
Mm-hmm.
That's important right now. And what else? This is why identifying messaging and positioning in advance helps. And not just this document. Like when you think about it, just ramble for the next 15 minutes. 15 minutes. When you think about this, seriously, when you think about it, if you set up every single kind of major evergreen piece of copy with the positioning and the messaging at the top, and you don't regurgitate the positioning and the messaging, thanks for saying, and you don't regurgitate it exactly as it is, but you really kind of think about like, what are the pieces? How can we put all these pieces back in the big Yahtzee cup and shake it up and put it out again? What happens today? We have a LinkedIn business page that is, going to be on brand, on message to all this stuff. Tomorrow we have, not really tomorrow, but the figurative tomorrow, we have Janine's personal page, which is going to be steeped in this messaging and positioning. And the websites start with a positioning statement. Start with a tagline, do this, reconstruct it. If you're using this to be like the baseline or the kind of the ornaments on the Christmas tree, let's get seasonal, then what happens is you start to weave these like threads of these like golden threads of branded phrases and words that start to become this kind of like word universe as it were on your digital platform. So everything starts to kind of not sound exactly the same,
No, but it's cohesive.
Yeah, you've got this like real kind of, the container of it feels familiar no matter what piece of marketing you're on. Okay. Yeah, this is important.
What?
Flush. It's awesome.
I also think that cohort of collaborators with diverse voices is really important.
Very good. I mean, that's really the truth when it comes to, let's not forget we need keywords here. Cohort. Where did that go? Oh, it's up in positioning.
Well, no, it's down here. It's underneath communications and commercials.
I don't want to throw moral in here or Maverick too soon.
Well, that's why I didn't say that part.
Okay, fine. Take it out. This is really what it comes down to. Again, kind of like thinking about what do you do when you're sitting across from somebody, like having coffee, and just like, what do you want to tell them? I think you want to tell them that if they're trying to really resonate with communities, having the same old vanilla voice isn't necessarily going to bridge like a cultural gap. And if you truly want to build a relationship between your organization and the communities that serve, your voice should really match the culture of it. And in Janine's case, and the kind of voiceover agency she wants to form is all around Black and brown voices. So like being blunt, if you're if you're some sort of let's just say a company, if you're a company and your target audience are Black and brown folks, like just going to your regular old voiceover company and being like, one voiceover, please. And 99% of those are like white folks. It's going to be hard for your message to really like get across. There's so many historical underpinnings why those voices may or may not be trusted or be able to break through that kind of like culture gap barrier. And you can listen to all of those discussions when we do this positioning in season 1 of Business in the Raw, episode 4. I think 3 and 4, well, actually 3 is really powerful towards why have an agency that specifically calls out people of the global majority, and why it's really important to have representation in voiceover work. So if you're interested in that conversation, please go back and listen to that, or listen to or watch that episode. But that's really what it's about, I think. It's particularly if we're going to call it out right at the top here, of Black and brown voiceover artists bringing mighty messaging to life for communities that dare not be ignored, causes and communities that dare not be ignored. Like, I just like, that's such a powerful statement. So every truth needs a trusted voice to be heard, and you know it when you hear it. If now come here. Now come here. Now you can break this in. Hey, girl, hey.
Owen came in looking for his Halloween candy. I was like, I'm like literally working. How'd you get in here?
Owen, number 1, what's your favorite Halloween candy?
He really likes Smarties.
Wow, that would track. You are what you eat.
Mm-hmm.
Tell him
Do you guys have Smarties?
Yes, girl, we have Smarties.
I don't know.
What is this? It's middle country?
Well, you don't have all dressed chips, so
We have all dressed Smarties. You don't have those?
all dressed what?
Smarties? You don't have those?
No.
Rude. Okay. Okay, we did this, and we didn't do that. Let's hear it. Every truth needs a trusted voice to be heard, and you know it when you hear it. If you want to sound authentic and accessible, inspiring interest and expressing ideas, communicating. Wow, it's choppy, but that's why we read it out loud. Here's a little story about my dad. My dad was an English teacher at the high school level. He started out with English as a second language for our incoming immigrant population from Vietnam and Laos at the end of the Vietnam conflict in Eugene, Oregon in the 70s. And then he went on to teach teachers. But one thing I learned a lot of things from my dad, but as a writer, I learned that if you read it out loud, you can identify how well it's working pretty quickly. And so when I was learning how to write from a marketing perspective, I learned how to write academically in school. This might be the most interesting part of this roll-up. When I was learning how to write from a marketing perspective, my dad was super helpful. He lived with us at the time because San was a wee baby, and it was kind of like, 3 generations, 1 roof. And so he would get upstairs, he'd be upstairs in the little grandpa cave, and I would be downstairs in the kitchen, and we both have our laptops open and our headphones on. We would Skype, and he would make me read everything over and over and over again until it made sense. That's what we're doing here. Every truth needs a trusted voice to be heard, and you know when you hear it. If you want to sound authentic and accessible, so that, I know we're not going to keep that, but so that you can inspire interest and express ideas, create.
That's the word I was going to use.
And it's alliterative. Communications and commercials that exude feelings of peace, protection, and possibility. Yep. Hard close. Okay. We already did this piece. That piece we didn't do. We can get there. We can get there in the first 2 paragraphs, and then we can close this live stream. And I will continue working on this because I have to deliver it to Janine.
Yep.
Yep. Sure do. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Now we can go right with hit your people right where they live. I hope this doesn't give DV vibes.
Like the domestic violence?
Yeah. Hit your people right where they live. I'm serious.
I know you're serious because you're very like conscious of that stuff, but I don't think like people are like, you know what? Janine's gonna come beat the shit out of me with her voice. Like no one's like
Kathleen, like hit your people right where they live is actually like a really good tagline for domestic violence. Like, so
yes, it would be a very good one if that's what we were.
If we were in an upside down horrorscape, amplified in high fidelity by a rolling monster. Spirit tune. Okay. Voiceover actors. And tap into this cohort of collaborators. Okay, like that's showcase your brand. Not a full sentence.
What are you actually trying to say though in this?
I'm trying to use this positioning statement in a way that uses all the words. That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah, I don't want to talk about this quite yet. Like deliberate disruption and controlling controversy just yet.
Should be like showcase your brand and hit your people right. Like I know that you're trying to say like in the heart, like make them like feel something.
Get in your gut, hit you right where you live.
Oh.
Yep.
Like I know enough about Janine's brand, but obviously like we're rebuilding it live. But I think that's the thing is like she wants people to find like comfort in themselves and show representation. And when people hear all of the voiceover actors and actresses, they find like comfort in it. It's like home. They get it, they understand it. Other people are looking to have that contributed to their brands, and Janine gets it. And
you get it, clearly.
Well, good, because this is live and it's going to be on the internet forever. I'm very happy I didn't fuck that up.
Kathleen Stewart is a brilliant brand strategist in the making. That's my prediction.
Hey, I'm a very good ideas person.
Yeah, you are. Why are you in the implementation business then?
Because that's what people need the most help with.
That's because that's what you think people will pay you for.
Men? Well, we...
That's why I told you the WhatsApp. I think you have a secret hidden talent we haven't discovered yet. Yeah, eyebrows. We'll get to that. We'll get to that real soon.
Yeah, today's about Janine.
Today's about Janine. And we've come to the end of our broadcast. How convenient. How convenient. Woo, okay. Let's put this down for a minute. You're absolutely right. We need to be thinking about that core message of Look, I mean, honestly, if you want people to listen to you, you better sound familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Case closed. So stop shopping at the same candy store, assuming every single audience is exactly the same, because they are not. And if your audience needs to hear black and brown voices in order to hear your messaging, whether you're an
Mm-hmm.
impact organization or you're a public health, or you just, that's your commercial space or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, you better sound familiar. So
Mm-hmm.
I will continue working on this live stream audience of you and me, Kat. I will
Mm-hmm.
continue working on this, and I'm sure I will knock it out of the park eventually, because I must deliver it to Janine. But this is how I do it. And so we're using this time to kind of stay accountable. I don't know how successful this live stream was of just me kind of walking people through it, more than not doing any actual writing. But one thing I discovered is Kathleen is an awesome co-host. Oh my
I
god!
think if anything though, Rebecca, it's really showed people the attention you put into the work that you do, the thought that you put into the work that you do. You actually really care about people and their brands, and you're hella fun to work with.
Oh my god! What she said.
Mm.
That's what she said. I'm giving a solid. That's what she said. Come back and be with me again at our next Write With Me, because I don't know. Maybe you and I need to co-host the roll up.
Oh, that would be fucking fun.
I know we got to reconcept that thing, because right now it's just a mirepoix, as we say. It
Yeah.
is a hodgepodge of experimentation, and eventually somebody will want to figure out what that show is going to be, and by somebody I mean us.
Okay, but I have a question before we go. A
Yeah,
mirepoix, is that like a food related thing?
it is, and
Is that
actually,
like the onions and celery and stuff that you chop up?
that's exactly
Okay, well,
right.
that's the basis to like everything delicious. So that's a really good compliment.
It's a good compliment. It's actually kind of an erroneous analogy, because mirepoix is like very like intentional and a building block, and like it is what it is. And the stone fruit roll up is just, let's come up with as many different ideas and shows and guests and concepts that we can come up with, and try all of them to see what we like. So maybe
Yeah.
it's more of like a pig and a poke. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. A hodgepodge. A what you find in the minivan after you've been carting 5 kids around for 2 weeks.
Ew.
Maybe that.
It might be that.
Maybe that. Okay. Pro tip for you is, when you sit in front of a window, we cannot see your face. So you got to be cognizant of being backlit now that I'm looking at you.
I know, but I wasn't expecting to actually
weren't.
pop on today.
You were not. You were not. You were not. You saved the
Look,
day.
if you can see in my background, I actually have a full recording area.
Okay. Well, eventually.
Maybe use that.
You didn't know. We just here we go, experimenting again. You didn't know. So if anybody is out there watching the replay, smash that like and subscribe button.
Also, buy this flash deal.
Buy this flash deal. This has been a live planning session for season 2 of Business in the Raw. We're doing it every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Kat has been here to save us from ourselves and from just doing a share screen like death by meeting. And we're going to keep figuring it out as we figure out Janine stuff. Yeah. That's all I can say. Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for sharing your time today. I know it was so exciting to see you. And thanks to anybody who made it to the end. Oops.